Hi and welcome back. So today we're going to solve a coding interview problem, and the problem states that we need to show if two values are equal or not. So if we have value 1 and value 2, we need to show if these two values are equal, then we return true, and if the values are not equal, then we return false. So pretty simple, but well, we have to make all of these test cases pass. So here in the first test case, we're going to compare if, for example, two numbers are equal, or two strings or two null values as I have here are equal. I think that is a pretty simple case. Then we have to show if two arrays are equal, if two objects are equal, and if two objects with nested properties are equal. So basically these three blocks are going to be tackled within the same logic, because arrays are objects, and obviously objects are objects, and objects with nested properties are objects. Null are also objects, but we're going to tackle them within the same logic of this IT block. So we're going to take this test-driven development approach, where we first write the test cases, and then, well, obviously now the tests are going to fail. In fact, I have this package JSON. In this package JSON, I have scripts, and the only script that I have is test. So if I run yarn test, it's going to say that I have 4 failing tests. That's great. And if I'm going to run this command with this watch all flag. So whenever I make a change in my r=equal function, then I'm going to reflect that change and see if the tests are now passing. Okay, so let's tackle the simplest case here, and basically that's this case here when we have two single values. Okay, so pretty simple. We're going to say if value 1 is equal to value 2, and we return true. Otherwise, we return false. So we don't need an else statement here because we're returning here. So now you can see here that 3 tests are failing and 1 passed. So obviously the one that is passing is the first IT block. So this block here, all of the expected statements here are passing. Okay, so now we need a way to validate objects. So objects include null objects. So null is already tackled here, because if null is equal to null, then we return true. So we don't have to worry about that case. Now the second object is an array, and the third object is, well, an object. So we're going to say if type of value 1 is an object, and type of value 2 is an object, then we're going to calculate the keys of that object. So we're going to say const value 1 keys. That's going to be object.keys value 1, and value 2 keys object.keys value 2. So if we have an array, then the keys are going to be the indexes of the array, and if it's an object, then, well, they're going to be the keys of the object. So now we have the value 1 keys and the value 2 keys. So the first thing we can do is compare the length of this array. So because object.keys returns an array, so we need to compare if value 1 keys, that length is different from value 2 keys, that length. So if these two things are different, then we return false, because there's no need to do what we're going to do next. Okay, so now we're going to iterate through the keys. So we can iterate through, for example, value 1 keys or value 2 keys. It doesn't matter, because we have already checked that they are the same length. Okay, and we're going to say the following: if value 2 keys includes the current key, and now we're going to make our recursion here, but with the value 1 key and value 2 key. Okay, so if this returns true, so if these two conditions are true, then we continue on the iteration, otherwise we return false. Okay, so let's think about what happened here. So first we have to check if the current key of value 1 keys is inside the value 2 keys. So if it is not, then well, we just return false here, and we return false because value 1 keys and value 2 keys are not equal. Okay, now that's the first thing we want to check. The second thing we want to check is if the value 1 of key and the value 2 of key are equal. So basically this is our recursion. Okay, so for example, if we have an array, value 1 key is going to be if key is 0, so remember the keys are the indexes of an array, so value 1 of 0 is going to be the first element, and value 2 of 0 is going to also be the first element. If value 1 and value 2 are objects, so like key value pairs, then this is going to be the value 1 of key is going to be the value, and value 2 is also going to be a value. And in the recursion step we're going to compare those two values. Okay, so if they are true, if they are equal, so we return true, and then if they are not equal, we're going to return false here in this line. Okay, and if value 1 of key and value 2 of key are objects, then we're going to make the recursion, and we are going to go to this block here again. Okay, so that's the recursion step. And basically if we go through all of these keys and we didn't return false, then we have to return true. Okay, so now everything is passing except for the last test. So let me check what happened here. So in line 21, AC1, okay, so I have a mistake here in this test. This test, I wanted it to be true. Okay, so now it is passing. Everything is passing here. So that's basically everything. That's basically the Lodash implementation. Now, if you are asked, for example, how can you enhance this function? Well, we have to check the time complexity of these things. But basically, what may be slowing down our function is this thing here, value 2 keys dot includes key. Why? Because this is making a search for an array, and that takes a time complexity of O(n). So maybe we can construct here an object, so a hash table, in order to make this comparison in all one time. So that's something you can make on your own. And that's everything for this video. I hope you like it. See you in the next one. Bye bye.